Module 1, Lesson 1, our content goal, I can gain an understanding of the term ratio. So when we walk away from this lesson today, the biggest thing that we want to know that we accomplish this content goal is, yes, I know what a ratio is. One quick thing that I want to go over before we start this lesson is that a ratio is always a pair of numbers. For example, 2 to 3, and does not include units or words. An example, a non-example of this is this example here that says 2 centimeters to 3 seconds. This example has words included or units. There are no words or units included in the ratio. It is just the number. So we would just simply write 2 to 3. As we progress in this video, whenever I write down a problem, you'll copy it down in some notes. Perhaps a notebook would be most suggested so that it's all in one place. Or you can use loose paper if you don't have a notebook. But you'll want to copy down all the examples that I do, maybe take some notes on the side, and this will help you with the problem set. Remember that you can always go back and rewind while you're doing the problem set if there's something that you don't understand. Okay, let's continue with this example 1. The co-ed soccer team has 4 times as many boys on it as it has girls. We say the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls on the team as 4 to 1. We read this as 4 to 1. Say that with me. 4 to 1. Let's create a table to show how many boys and how many girls could be on the team. So it reminds you, let's copy this down in your notes. This is a table here. So if there are 4 to 1 girls, that means there are 4 boys for every 1 girl on the team. And this column says total number of players. That means how many altogether. So 4 plus 1 is 5 players. So this next question says, is this big enough for a team? Do you think that a soccer team of 5, oops, that's not 5. Go away, guy. 5 people would be enough? Probably not, right? You wouldn't be able to play a soccer game with only 5 people on the team. You could play a game for fun, but that's not a traditional soccer team. So we want to use this same ratio to try to build a bigger team. So what are some other ratios that show 4 times as many boys as girls? Or a ratio of boys to girls as 4 to 1. So we want to keep that same 4 to 1 ratio. For every 4 boys, there's 1 girl. So for example, if there are 2 girls, that's going to be 2 groups of 4 boys. So 2 groups of 4, or 2 times 4, is 8. 4 boys for every 1 girl. 8 plus 2 would give us a total of 10 soccer players. So next, if there were, continuing with this ratio, if there were 3 girls, we can figure out how many boys that would be by thinking of 3 groups of 4. And 3 groups of 4 is 3 times 4, which is 12. Okay, and again for the total number of players, 12 plus 3 equals 15 players. Okay, and it gives us a space to do one more. So if there were 4 girls on the team, 4 groups of 4 is 4 times 4, 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. Now we still are reading this as boys to girls. So 4 to 1, 8 to 2, 12 to 3, 16 to 4. All right, so for this next one, we're going to be using words to describe a ratio that represents each ratio below. Okay, so we're going to be describing a scenario where this ratio would apply. So for this first one, the ratio is 1 to 12. So I could say for every 1 year, there are 12 months. Now this is a scenario where I am using 1 to 12. And notice that I listed the number 1 first because the order does matter. I'm saying 1 to 12. So for every 1 year, there are 12 months. In the reverse kind of ratio here, in this example, we have 12 to 1. So a way to word this backwards from the last example is I could say for every 12 months, there is 1 year. Okay, and see, in this example, the number 12 appeared first, just as it does in the ratio. And for our final example, 2 to 5. Now, I could use any number of examples here, but one that I'm going to use is for every 2 non-school days, such as Saturday and Sunday, there are 5 school days. And notice again, the number 2 came first when I read this ratio because the ratio is 2 to 5. If I mix up those numbers, that changes the relationship. So when I write it, when they're giving me the words and I'm writing down the ratio, or when they're giving me the ratio and I'm writing down the relationship, I'm always going to be using the numbers in the same order as they are written. And a summary of this, again, is a ratio. Thinking back to the content goal that I want to understand what a ratio is. A ratio is an ordered pair of numbers which not both 0. So we can't have a 0 to 0 ratio. A ratio is denoted A to B to indicate the order of the numbers. The number A is first and the number B is second. So again, if I had for every 5 boys on the team, there are 2 girls, I have to keep 5 with the boys and 2 with the girls. 5 comes first, 2 comes second. The order of the numbers is important to the meaning of the ratio, what I was just describing. Switching the numbers changes the relationship. The description of the ratio relationship tells us the correct order for the numbers in the ratio. We can't just switch those numbers around. That's a totally different relationship now. For your problem set today, you're really just working with writing ratios. So I highlighted B on number 1 because I just wanted to reiterate a point where it says write the same ratio using another form. For example, A to B versus A to B. So in the first example, it's written with a colon, such as 5 to 2. And then if we write it a different way, it would actually be using the word 2. So it would be like the number 5 to 2 or 5 to 2 with the colon. Okay, so you just want to use both forms to demonstrate your ratio here. All right, and if you guys have any questions on the problem set, please do your best, and then when you are pulled into small group with your teacher, we will be happy to go over whichever problems that you'd like us to solve with you and do some extra practice as well. All right, awesome job. Thanks, guys. Thing I wanted to mention, guys, you should have picked up this math binder from school. So the work that I did today pieces were pulled from this section that says classwork. You can also use this to take notes on if you don't want to use blank paper or your notebook. And then you're going to want to look for the heading problem set, and that is your independent assignment, is the problem set.